Hi, my name is Nick Maffeo from Canton Cooperative Bank, and here to support the organization and educational efforts of the CHOW organization, founded by Dr. Sergi, doing a fantastic job for the Canton community. And we're pleased to be here.
Oh, thank you. He's one of our original supporters, and we're very happy to have him here. That's why I wanted him to say something. Thank you very much. Here we have today Mr. Doug Smith, who's the Director of Advancement at Stonehill College, who we're trying to entice into doing something with Italian language and culture, and has been very supportive to our efforts to do so, as evidenced by the fact that he's here tonight, for which he didn't have to do. Here you go, Sam.
Thank you, Dr. Sergi. It's been a great opportunity to meet you and your organization, to learn about how you're using the Italian language and educating our youth, and hopefully we can do something that would be beneficial to Stonehill College. So thank you for the invitation.
Attending our CHOW event is founder of the Mass Republicans Jewish Committee, Tom Mountain. He's here helping us celebrate CHOW because he realizes the value of every nationality, respecting their traditions and their heritage. Tom, you do a great job with the Jewish community. What do you have to say about that?
Well, Ginny, you do a great job with the Italian community, and our communities have two very important things in common, which we're very patriotic, we're very American. We are strict adherents to our Judeo-Christian culture, to our Western culture, which we value. And above all, we revere and remember Columbus Day, and we will continue to celebrate it into the future and the distant future. And it's important to keep that heritage alive for our children and our grandchildren and forever. And I'm very grateful to be here and to participate in a small way in this magnificent event. And thank you for that.
Thank you. And Tom Mountain's wife is Aura Mountain, and she came to this country after being in the Israeli army. She came here, and she still values her traditions with her heritage, and she helps support Christopher Columbus as well. Just a very giving family, Tom and Aura Mountain. Thank you, and welcome to CHOW, the cultural Italian-American organization founded by Dr. Paul Sergi. We start this evening with the Italian national anthem, followed by our national anthem. Lenny, you ready? Yeah. Okay. It's behind us. This evening with Dr. Paul Sergi for the CHOW event, cultural Italian-American organization founded by Dr. Paul Sergi. Dr. Paul, tell us a little bit about CHOW.
Oh, geez, that would take a lot of time. But basically, it's an attempt to maintain Italian culture and language in the community, something that I think is very important and is useful not only to the Italian people, but to our schools and our education system. So basically that's the concept of what we're trying to do. And we're fortunate enough to have the input from a lot of organization and community people, as evidenced by this crowd here tonight, where we have 100 people from the community supporting us for our first fundraiser. So I think that's basically it. It's not about me, it's about you guys.
So the school is very important because what it does is it teaches the Italian language to students both in junior high and high school. And it's very successful. I think now they have 2 classes, almost 3.
There's 2 classes at the high school, and we have 3 classes at adult education. Yes. This is basically, at the present time, a Canton endeavor. We're hoping to spread out to other towns shortly after, depending on their interest and their input as well.
And there are a lot of people that you'll be meeting here tonight that helped financially and just by volunteering, so that this would be a huge success, and it certainly has turned into a big success. And now, to welcome you, the founder of CHOW, Dr. Paul Sergi.
Thank you very much. I need it. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. You're a diverse group, and it's really nice to see everybody here. Welcome, and thank you. Now that we've driven all of the Irish out of the building with that national anthem, they must be wondering what the hell is happening here. Or go on to remind you that, believe it or not, in the adult education classes, those teachers make us try to sing that, believe it or not. And we don't understand it in English, never mind Italian. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I'm Paul Sergi, as they told you. I'm the founder of this organization. First of all, you have to understand what the organization is. I always try to tell some of our friends here that this is not a cultural organization. We're an educational organization. We are not a cultural organization. We're trying to promote Italian language and culture, mainly for me because I think it's important. I think it's good for education in the community. So I'll try to get through this a little bit briefly to tell you a little bit of the story, how it came about. Some of the people here were involved in the evolution. It really goes back to the early 2000s when, no, actually before that, when my friend Bob Consalvo, young senator, his father, came up with the idea of a cultural, but a what do you call those schools? Charter school. But the thing he did is he did it in Chinese, Mandarin, Hyde Park. He did it in Hyde Park, your place, right? So we did a Mandarin charter school. So I said to him, Bobby, what are you doing? You know, I said, why don't you do an Italian thing? The language is going out, and the teachers know that language is a hard thing to maintain in the high schools, in the colleges, any language, but particularly Italian. But I always said that, you know, this is Boston. We should have Italian in our schools. I mean, this was primarily an Irish-Italian section when I was a kid. I grew up in Hyde Park. I went to grammar school there, went to BC High, went to Boston College. From there, I went off to, where did I go from there? New York Medical College. I've been in the U.S. Army. Got married about that time to a very nice little lady. We'll try to tell you about her. You see, it's women's lib. It's unbelievable. They'll cheer for that, I'll tell you. And I got up, after I come out of the Army, I spent a couple of years in Rhode Island Hospital, and then went to Boston City Hospital, and then I practiced in Brockton for 25 years. And so now I'm semi-retired. Anyway, enough about me, but the point is, Bobby gave me the idea. We went to the Italian consulate at that time, and as Mr. Smith knows, it all comes down to money. We have no money. We're a no money organization. And a lot of this education depends on getting the money for these things. And then we said, well, we'll do a public thing. Well, I don't even know how to use a computer. I have no smarts to do that. So it kind of got dropped for a while, the whole concept. And then I think recently I met with Dominic Candelieri here, and he took me back to the embassy, and we tried again, and that also failed. And then we had the Columbus fiasco, and I gave the Italian American Alliance call. Okay, I'm a brick and mortar guy. I said, I don't care about fighting the Columbus statue. Let's try to do something that's brick and mortar that stays. And the original concept was to go charter school. Well, we don't have the money to do charter school, so what are we going to do? We're going to do an immersion program. Yeah? Aren't I bright? Well, you can't do an immersion program unless you do everything in an immersion program. The schools are not going to do that. So then we said, well, then we'll try to get a good program going at some high school, all right? So at that point, we decided that we would attempt to go back to the embassy, and we did it again. And this time we hit the right person at the right time. We hit this little lady over here, Miss Heidi Olson, who was the program developer. What is your title? Everybody has a title, by the way. What was your title at the time? Coordinator. And she was looking for something to plug their program, and she made it easy. So we got in there, we got supported by the Italian consulate, and so we started to go. And so what we basically have accomplished is a 4-year program at the high school in Italian. It's supposed to be like you're going to the elite schools. That's what we're hoping to do. So we're the best. So that if they look around, the towns look around at us, and they say, "Look, they got it, Canton High School. We want that in our community." So anyway, we got that started. We also have been able to establish adult education at the library and at the adult senior center. So anyway, there are a lot of people. We hope also to try to spread. We've talked to Mr. Smith here about doing something at a university to try to get a real good program going somewhere there. And hopefully we'll be able to do something. We'll do our best. We'll try to spread to the other towns. We got to find fertile ground, somewhere that has Italian or is willing to try it. I don't see any reason why all the Italian American clubs can't have adult education. You raise the money through your tuitions, and I think that's a good start. That's how we did it here. So at any event, so that's what we hope to do. That's what we have where we're going. I got to thank a lot of people here, some of whom are not here, by the way, but I want to thank just general thing, the Italian Consul General. Senator Feeney, who has been very instrumental from the state's perspective. Representative Galvin, who's no longer with us, but he was here earlier and has supported us. And of course, little Bobby Consalvo, are you? I knew Bobby when he was on the garbage trucks down on the Cape. And now look at him. Look at him now, huh? I also would like to thanks the IAA. They've been very supportive to our cause and very instrumental. They also, the Parendello Association, the Dr. Amara, who we'll say a few words about a little bit later on. Also the, now, what is that now, the women's? NOIA, what is that? We're trying to do some. We're trying to do something with them culturally through the library. We had a book review thing, and that was very successful. And we hope to continue to do that in the future if we can, each supporting the other to the best of our ability. We have the Canton High School group, the teachers and the administrators there, Deb Rooney, Vanessa Harvey, Marissa Noy, and Heidi Olson, okay? They're all helpful. They all helped us at the high school. We appreciate your help. We also have Mr. Burns there. Mr. Burns, if anybody you don't know, you Parendello people, I all called him when he wasn't responding to our invitation to remind him that he is the poster boy for the Parendello. He received a scholarship. He received a scholarship from the Parendello Association when he graduated from high school. Yes.
2011.
Right. And he is now a teacher at the Canton High School. And from what I understand, the girls love him. I know. That's what I heard from my sources. We were supposed to have some other special guests tonight. Mr. Doug Smith is a special guest. He's a Stony Hill Advanced Development. I thank you for coming. Mr. Anthony San Marco, thank you for coming. Thank you. We're proud to hear. Did you write the book that I read on Italians in Boston? Angelo Scarcia was supposed to come tonight. He can't make it because he had a wedding. And Tommy Menino's not going to make it, but for obvious reasons. But they are both Hyde Park boys, and they read your book. So I've read your book. I'm like Pat, and I read your book. We also have to thank the town of Canton. We've gotten support from the Canton Cooperative Bank. He was here earlier, Mr. Nick Maffeo. We've gotten support from the Canton Library, as mentioned, and the Canton Senior Center. We've gotten support from Lamparelli Oil, Mr. Frank, over there in the corner. Appreciate it. And we've gotten support from Canton Cable. I mention them because they're more corporate kind of people, but they're good people too. Also, I just want to give a shout out to the vendors that came here tonight. You'll see that there's a very nice cake that will be coming. It's from Gaetano's, a man I never knew. I called him on the phone. I talked to him. I was going to talk to him about donating something. I didn't even ask him. He said, I'll make the cake for you. Okay? His name is Gaetano. His bakery is in Holliston. It's a long way away. I had to go get it today. Also, flowers were donated from Central Florist in Stoughton. That was very nice of them. Vincenzo, who is Vincenzo's state catering service in Walpole, formerly of Dedham. He's brought the food tonight, so you'll see what that is. Obviously, it's the Irish Cultural Club, who have been very, very nice to deal with. all things being the truth. Also, of course, I'm gonna miss somebody in the room, obviously, I can't thank everybody, but all my friends here, and colleagues, friends, you, my wife. So, having said that, I think we would like to make some awards, maybe?
Let me just do this side of the room a little bit.
Do that side of the room. I try to get a little quick.
So here tonight is an IAA table, and President James DiStefano, one of the founders of IAA, and also a member there. And the IAA came out strong for child. And Dominic Mara, president of Carandilla Lyceum and chairman of IAA, was very instrumental in making this happen as well. Tommy DeMangelo is here. He is president of the, let me get this right, North End Historical Society, and he was very instrumental on the newest monument, the journey, the longest journey, what is it, Tom? The Noble Journey, that's right, as was Anthony San Marco. Let me see who else I have here. Nick Pasquarosa is part of the Italian-American Society of Newton, who helped me found that organization to save Columbus Day, promote our heritage and our history and our language, which I think is why we're all here. The importance of keeping our language alive. I think Tom Mountain's here, state committee man and a politician, and let's see, I think that might be it. Al Cicconelli, our attorney. Let's see, let me go over to the other table, and let me see. We already said Liz. Maria Giagonda Mato is here. Is she, Kasich? So you can, cousin? You can wave. And let's see. I think I'm done. I think that's it. So would you like to do the awards? Okay.
See, I didn't, I forgot Kazan. I know Kazan was a big backer of me, behind the scenes, I know that. I should have mentioned you specifically. You folks to me are all the same group, so to speak, so that's it with me. Unfortunately, we have the Consul General was supposed to come.
He was unable to attend. He just called and said he wasn't able to make it. He sends his regards.
Okay, you can tell me. Yeah, so he's not gonna be here. And I know Senator Feeney has appointments otherwise, so I want to thank him specifically through Bobby. Would you like to say anything? Or? No, it's Feeney. I'm going to introduce him. You're going to do some. Okay. Representative William Galvin here is dying to say something, but is a big supporter of our initiative at the high school and the rep from this area. So you're going to say hello.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to congratulate. They do an excellent job, and they brought the Italian language to the high school in Canton. And if you look around tonight, they have a tremendous support. And of course, they're Italians, but they're having it at the Irish Center here, the Cultural Irish Center. So they're very proactive. So I want to congratulate them and hope they enjoy their night. Thank you.
I'm taking charge here, everybody. We love Dr. Sergi, but it's time to take charge. Oh, and I got to step out 2 steps. At 5'2", this is helpful. Good evening, everybody. I'm State Representative Rob Consalvo. I represent the 14th Suffolk District in the Massachusetts House of Representatives, which is Hyde Park, Rosendale, Reedville, and West Roxbury in the city of Boston. Proud to be one of the few Italian-American state representatives in the House. And yeah, let's hear it for that. It also helps that our speaker, who's the real boss, is also Italian, Speaker Ron Mariano, so we'll give it up for the speaker for being Italian. And I want to also, I'm not here just because I'm the state rep or I'm Italian, I'm really here to honor my friend Dr. Sergi, Mrs. Sergi, and the whole Sergi family, who've been like families to the Consalvo family. They're lifelong friends, my father's best friend, lifelong supporters of my family, of our community in Hyde Park, lifelong supporter of me in my multiple quests to run for office. I'm 10-2, not a bad record, 10 wins, 2 losses. But they've supported me every step of the way. As I used to be a Boston City Councilor for 14 years before heading up to the State House. And so just can't thank Dr. Sergi enough. I will say I'm glad this is over, because Dr. Sergi calls me 7 times a day, every day, to check in on this event, whether I'm coming, and whether we're going to get money in the state budget again. And that's where I want to recognize my friend, State Senator Paul Feeney, who's here. I'm going to bring him up in a minute. State Representative from Canton, Bill Galvin, who's my great friend in the House. Thanks to those 2 guys, we were able to secure funding the last 2 years to provide funding for CHOW so that they can continue that mission at Canton High School. We're thrilled that this House, the Senate passed it. We're thrilled that when it came back to the House, we passed it. We're thrilled that the governor signed it and didn't veto it. And I think that speaks volumes to how important CHOW is, the program is, the Italian culture is, and continuing to forward that Italian culture across Massachusetts. And I'm excited. Dr. Sergi and I have talked about the next step. It would be really proud for me to bring the program CHOW to the Boston Public Schools, the largest school district in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and where my children go, Boston Public Schools. And I just certainly would say that this will continue to have my full support in the House, but also as a friend of the Sergi family. Like I said, not just friends, but family. They're like family to the Consalvos. We can't, and I'm sorry that my dad couldn't be here, and my mom, but they're enjoying this moment through me, and we'll share this with them. And it's my honor to bring up the Canton State Representative, the person who spearheaded this for CHOW in the Massachusetts Senate. When we went to, along with Rep. Galvin, but when we went to Senator Feeney, he is Irish, but that's okay, we don't, you know. When we went to Senator, so's my wife though, so I mean, when we went to Senator Feeney and brought it, the idea of bringing CHOW in the budget, and my mother, thank you, Mrs. Sergi, my mother's Irish, yeah. I married Irish, so yeah, we get it, we know it. Senator Feeney, we sat down with him because we needed a sponsor in the Senate and someone who would be the champion in the upper branch. And without hesitating, without even checking in with his staff, without even seeing where his other amendments were, he agreed to file this amendment in the Massachusetts State Senate. If he didn't do that, we wouldn't be here we are today with this great program. So please, a warm welcome for my great friend, Senator Paul Feeney.
Pretty tight up here for a couple of big guys here.
Wait till you see the antipasto.
I only have to go up 1 step, by the way. Well, good evening, everybody. What a wonderful evening. I'm thrilled to be able to join you all. I want to thank you for being here, but before I do that and talk just a little bit about kind of my involvement and how blessed I am to be able to support the work of CHOW and Dr. Sergi, I just want to thank my friend, Representative Consalvo. I've known the representative for many, many years. After he lost one of those races, he said, I need a ringer, I need you to help me out. And I got involved helping him, and we forged a friendship over the years. And I got to tell you, there's nobody better. There's no bigger champion, not only of what we're here to celebrate tonight, but of people in his district and of people across the Commonwealth. And I know that's because it's in his DNA. It's how he was raised, right? We need more electeds like him, we need more state representatives like him, more legislators like him. I've been blessed to be in the state senate for the last almost 8 years, and I model my public service after Robbie and people like him that work so hard on behalf of their constituents. So when I got a call one day, I was driving home, and I gotta tell you, this is like, you know, budget season, you got 1 million amendments, you're trying to balance all the different asks, we're trying to figure out how much money we have that's available for programs like this in our schools and everything else. And I'm driving home and I'm in traffic and I get a call from Representative Consalvo and he says, Feeney, I need you. I go, oh boy, this will be a great ask. I love him, but I grew up in JP and Rosendale, so every time I went to Hyde Park, I used to get in a fight. But I said, this can't be good. What do you need, pal? And he says, I got this great program. Friends, these are family to me. Dr. Sergi, I want you to meet him. He's got this great idea about bringing Italian language and culture and heritage to the Canton Public Schools. I know you're the senator from Canton, can you support this? And I said, Robbie, not even a question, you're asking. I think I gotta file amendments in about 10 minutes, but I'll figure out a way to do it. And he said, let's go sit down with Dr. Sergi. So we did, we met for a cup of coffee, we talked, and I was in. I was in because not only was his pitch, not only did it make sense, right, but his energy on this was contagious. It was contagious, and I talk often about this, that, you know, when you have people with good ideas and they bring these things to you, it's more often caught than taught. That you can tell right away, once they come in with their energy, how important it is to do that. So I was brought in and I said, okay, I'm in, you got it, I'm committed. And I didn't say this at the time, but I'm like, oh, I better call the superintendent of Canton Schools first to make sure this is okay. And I reached out to the superintendent, who's a great, great individual, a wonderful superintendent. And I said, is this for real? Am I getting into something here? What is this? And he goes, no, whatever they need, Senator, if you can help out, we would really, really appreciate it. Don't know how successful it's gonna be. We're trying this out. It's a pilot, we'll see what happens. So we did that. And then the next time I went back to that school, the superintendent looked at me and the educators looked at me and said, this is incredible. The amount of interest that we're seeing here in Canton and the value that they're getting out of this program is immeasurable. And I knew right then that we made the right decision and we needed to double down. So that was a down payment. And as Rep. Consalvo said, we're starting to strategize too, going into maybe some economic headwinds ahead of us, but we know that a budget and what we do with our precious taxpayer dollars is a statement of our values. And I can think of no more important value than supporting language and immersion and culture and heritage. Our schools aren't just about core curriculum, right? It's about nurturing the whole student. It's about getting into our libraries and into our senior centers. That's what we need. Every single day when we turn on the news or read the paper, everything's so divisive. But you look around in a room like this, you feel the love, you feel the energy, you feel the pride. We need more pride these days. And we can do that with programs like CHOW. It's a proven concept. We just need to make sure that we're investing in it going forward. I will leave you with this. One of my favorite authors, and he's a noted author, he's getting TED Talks and everything, is this guy Simon Sinek. I don't know if anybody knows Simon Sinek, right? And he's got this great TED Talk. You can Google it when you leave here. Dr. Sergi will Google it for you so that we can show you. You FaceTime? I couldn't believe it. Wow. I'm gonna have to warn my staff that he's FaceTiming now. And it wasn't a mistake. It's Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek has this great talk and a book. The book's a great book, and he calls it "Start with Why." And it's an important lesson. I use it every single day. I think about it. Start with why. We get so bogged down in the how and the what, and that's important, right? And we get some great people here that put together a program and curriculum and working with educators and, you know, history, and I mean, it's amazing. That's the how and the what. But it's the why that drives us. In every step of your life, in everything that we all do, it's the why that moves us, that keeps us persisting through adversity, those failed attempts. Should we do a charter school? We don't have the resources. Should we do this program? We don't have the resources. So just keep going. Keep going, because you have that why inside us that drives us. And I look around this room and I see pride and I see a very deeply rooted why. That why is what's going to make a difference, not only with CHOW in the Canton Public Schools, hopefully as we expand this, preferably into Boston and other communities in the region. I'm lucky enough to represent 7 communities in the Bristol and Norfolk district. I've already been talking to many of my superintendents and to others throughout my district to say, look at what's happening up in Canton. Can we do that here? Can we do that in Attleboro? Can we do that in Foxborough? Can we do that in Mansfield, across our district here locally? It's that why that is driving those conversations. It is that why that you're here tonight. It is that why that hopefully will get you to dig deep and a little deeper. And it's that why, as a public official, by the way, I've learned to always under-promise and over-deliver. So I'm not going to violate that principle tonight. However, I will tell you, as the Assistant Vice Chair Ways and Means in the Senate, that I've had this conversation with our leadership as well in the Senate about how important this is and how supportive people here have been. And we're going to look for a way. We're doing a supplemental funding budget next week in the Senate. The House took it up. We're going to hopefully be able to match many of the things that they did. But we're going to be looking for an opportunity in that bill as well to find some resources to continue to support CHOW and programs like it. but we're only doing that because you empower us to be able to do that. You have shown how important it is. So once again, I thank you for being here. I thank Dr. Sergi with all my heart, deep down, for all that he has done and the team that he's put together. To our Canton Public Schools, the educators, we are so proud of what happens here in Canton. Some of the best schools in the state, so many things that we're proud of. We have great schools here in Canton. We have a great library, we have a great senior center, and because of the work of Chow, you're making it better. So thank you so much, I appreciate it.
So I'm here with James DiStefano, founder of the Italian American Alliance, and IAA, as you know, donated a lot of money to make Chow successful and to make it happen and make it possible. President DiStefano, would you like to talk a little bit about Chow?
Well, I am so happy that we joined in to help them out because our Italian language is very, very important to us, and we don't want to lose it. Unfortunately, many towns have cut that out of their curriculums already, and I'm so happy that Dr. Sergi and his group is trying to get it back into a lot of the schools, and we'll do whatever we can to help them out.
And from Chow, I thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much, but I got to straighten this out a little bit. This conversation has gone off the chart. First of all, he's praised Bob Gonzalo. I still remember him. He was on the garbage truck. That's right. Now he's an important person. He brought up a good question, and I asked myself the same thing. And to be honest, I don't look for any praise. There's nothing special for me. I know, I'm not smart now because I can't use a computer, and that limits me somewhat. Believe me, I miss that. The why is important. I ask myself that time, why do I bother banging my head against the wall? And I think when I think back about it, I think it's really guilt. Because when I was growing up, my Italian parents did so much for me, and I never appreciated what they did and what they represented. I remember torturing my mother to type my what do you call those papers you have to do? Term papers. She would have to type because I don't type. That's one thing they didn't teach you at BCI. They should, is typing. And she would do it all night long. She wouldn't go to bed. I'd go to bed. She typed then I would criticize it the next morning. I said, you got that typing wrong. You didn't put the footnotes in the proper place. Do it again. So I think they had so much value. They did so much for us. I always, the Italians always you can do something better. If you got a B plus in school, you should get an A. If you get an A, you should get an A plus. If you get an A plus, you should play for the varsity. So I never felt that I lived up to that. I don't think it's possible, but in any event, I think that's the why. So I just don't want anybody to think it's because of me, all right?
It is a pleasure to be here with Tommy DiMangela. He is president of the North End Historical Society. Actually, he's a man who wears many hats, and he has many very important positions throughout the Italian community. Welcome, Tommy.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you list your organizations? Because I don't want to slight you.
We're part of the Italian American Alliance, which I'm the vice president. And because of that, we're also associated with the conferences of major Italian presidents, which is a national organization. And I'm happy to represent our organization with them. In fact, we'll be going to a convention in about a month there, too. So, and also dealing with the issues of Columbus. So that keeps us busy. But all our heritage and things are important. And the other big thing that I do in my spare time is I'm president of the North End Historical Society. And we are doing something right now. We actually got places for a museum and building it for a museum in the North End. It's going to tell the history for the first time.
Where can people find you? Do you have a website, or how do they get?
Sure. We have a website for the northendboston.org is our website. And you'll read the story about how we got this museum. And of course, if you have any connections to the North End and love what the spirit of the history and you've been part of it, we're now having a fundraiser and collecting donations to help support it. and I figure we'll have it open in maybe in 12 months from now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
We
But
look
I'm very
forward
happy
to
be
reading about
here
it.
because this is important too. Dawn Amara has been doing a lot of work with the Italian language with Canton, and to get that in the high school was a big deal, and that's why I'm here to support them. And my good friend Dawn Amara and everything that he's done to make this happen.
And you'll be hearing more about Dr. Amara through the presentation because he is not necessarily a founder, but he was in right at the beginning, Dr. Dominic Amara. He was able, very instrumental in getting the school for the Italian language program, and you'll hear more about him later.
And he's the chairman of our Italian American Alliance, so that's why we're here.
Dom Amara is actually chairman of the Italian American Alliance, Parandello Lyceum,
That's right.
and Copa Mayo. Is he with Copa Mayo?
Yeah, well, he did, yes. He represents the Pirandello for Copa Mayo also.
And, of course,
I just
Chow.
spoke to Dom driving in, Ginny.
Did you?
Yeah, we had a wonderful conversation. Tough time going through the treatment, as you know, for his situation, but it was nice to talk to him. And I wanted to let you know that he's hanging in there.
We're sending him our prayers, but we know he'll be back with a vengeance in force to help the Italian language school and to support the Italian American Alliance and Parandello and Chow.
I would like to do something special here tonight, okay? I have, in my infinite wisdom, divine, I'm going to give an award to certain people in this room who have contributed to this organization. Now think about this, folks. How many people have inhabited the earth over the years? People have received Golden Globes, Academy Awards. Nobody has received this award. Okay? Huh?
This is the first one.
Yes, correct. Nobody has received this. And this award is part of what I call the Da Vinci Award. Because originally, when I wanted to do charter school, I wanted to call it the Da Vinci School. Because, as you know, Da Vinci did everything. So anyway, my neighbor, Miss Stacy over there, I called on her one day, and I said to her 2 weeks ago, I said, this is an idea I have. Can you do a prototype? And she says, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll make it. So she's the designer, and if you want to do this kind of a product, she's the sole person to contact. Why don't you give them the awards out front now? Just,
Okay.
the first person. Saduti. The first person I'm giving this award to is my old friend Bob Consavo, who is an educator. He and I went to college together. He's a Hyde Park boy. We actually met in the men's room at Boston College. We were standing in urinals next to each other, and we recognized each other, and not that way. We became best friends. He was a pre-med student too, but he decided, he was smarter than I too. He decided he wasn't going to do it. He didn't want it. It's too much. And he became an educator. And he was Mayor Flynn's chief of staff. And my best friend. He's also one of the founders of the Academy of the Pacific Rim. Because of illness and so forth, he's unable to attend tonight. So I'll ask Robbie to take the award in his behalf. I'm giving these. That's real comfort. Put the medal on and put it on. I'm giving these out in sort of chronological order where these people developed in the system. So Robbie gets the first one.
I know I spoke already, but politician never gets a chance to speak again. But I do want to speak on behalf of my father, who couldn't be here tonight, because he loves you, Dr. Sergi. He loves you, Mrs. Sergi, and all the Sergi family. I know I sometimes, just friends your family, but you guys truly are family to my father. And my father's been an educator his whole life. He did start the Academy of Pacific Rim Charter School, it was his dream. And then working with Dr. Sergi, and he's been an advocate for Italian Americans and Italian American culture his entire life. He chaired the Social Justice Committee of the Sons of Italy, fighting against injustice in the media and in print, and battling back unfortunate stereotypes about Italian Americans. But I think one of the two great prides in his life was the Academy of the Pacific Rim, to actually start a charter school and what he grew up in, and also to work with you on Chow. And he got me involved with this, and again, you can't help but, I think the Senator captured perfectly about the infectious advocacy that Dr. Sergi has. And I know you're a humble guy, so you don't worry about you, but this is about you and your advocacy. You say jump, we say how high. So thank you very much.
I want you to notice on those ribbons, on the right side, they're red, white, and blue. On the left side, they're red, white, and green. Nobody else has got a design of that nature. I always have to remind myself and my Italian friends that we're Americans, really. We're not Italian, but we have Italian heritage. Second award goes to my friend Dominic Candelieri. That's why you can't go to the men's room. Dominic was instrumental in getting me introduced into the consulate of India, and I don't know how to do that kind of things. He was very helpful to me, and he deserves some recognition for his good work. Dominic.
You know we go a long way.
Yes, that's right. The third recipient, unfortunately, is not able to attend with us tonight. He's in the hospital and not doing well. But I think most of you people here know him very well. And he works tirelessly. I don't know, I don't understand him. But he's crazy, like me. So we became good friends, and he's been very helpful. And I want to give to Virginia the award. She'll bring it to him. And you want to say something about Dominic?
Thank you.
Dominic Amara, correct. Not you, the other Dominic. I have two Dominics in one.
I have to stand on this tall.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
So as you all know, Dr. Amara is receiving treatment for cancer and cannot be with us. And I ask you to remember him in your prayers. So it's no surprise to me that Dr. Amara, after meeting with Dr. Paul Sergi and hearing about the important Italian language school, without hesitation, volunteered to help. If you know Dom, you know the three most important things to Dom are family, his Italian heritage, and education. In 2023, at the Parandello Lyceum El Migliore Award Ceremony, Dr. Amara delivered a passionate speech asking all of us to take up the cause and be warriors and defenders of our heritage. Of course, that included the responsibility for us to teach Italian language, not just to our children or grandchildren, but to make sure future generations would learn the language and our heritage as well. I'm not going to read his whole speech because it was 25 minutes long, but I will read this. With each passing generation, we notice our history, heritage, and the lessons of those who came before us being diluted or lost altogether. And that brings me to my point. We shouldn't let that happen. If we do, those that come after us will be the worse for it. In closing, Dominic also said this: Ciao is one of the many Italian organizations trying to preserve our heritage. The Dante Alighieri, the Sons and Daughters of Italy, Knights of Columbus, National Federation of Italian Organization, the Parandello Lyceum, of which he's president, and the North End Historical Society, Augusta Boston, and the Italian American Alliance, and so many more social and religious organizations, all in the immediate area. Any one of them would welcome your participation. I plead with you to seek them out. Dr. Amara. Dom Amara did his part, and I'm sure Dom would say now, it is time for us to do our part. Ciao.
Okay. Last award here, not the last award, it's sort of given, this award goes to the first non-Italian. And that is to Miss Heidi Olson, who made it easy for us at Canton High School. So we want to thank her. Come here, everybody. Thank you, Heidi. Great job. Now, I'm sorry to drag it on, but it would not be complete without, there are other people, everybody in this room deserves the praise. Can't give everybody an award, can't recognize everybody. Just run out of time, we've already ruined your meal. But we want to mention some of the other people that have helped us, and those would be the teachers at the adult education. Marissa Noy, Maria, who am I forgetting? Who's the third? Oh, Irma, please, come on. Irma, please. I almost forgot Irma. She's way in the back. Irma doesn't make much noise. She just does the work. So I thank you all for coming. I want to give it when she gets her award. Oh, we got it. We got it. One more? Thank you. Thank you very much. I got one more to give. Wow, how do we get extra? We have an extra?
No worries.
This one I have to give to my wife. You can tell them stuff.
You want me to do Grace?
You can Grace and get yourself.
Okay.
Help you out?
All right. Yeah. One of the hats I wear is I'm honored to be elected American Legion Auxiliary Chaplain. So as chaplain, I am saying grace. Lord, we give thanks for this bountiful meal we are about to receive, for the hands that prepared it, and for the land that provided it. Thank you for bringing us together through CHOW, Cultural Italian American Organization, so we can support the Italian language school students and teachers. May you continue, Lord, to shower our child community and all of us with your guidance so we can better serve you. Amen. I am here tonight with Nick Pasquarosa. Nick Pasquarosa is co-chair with me and founder of Italian American Heritage Society of Newton, and he's going to talk a little bit about how important teaching our children, grandchildren, and the next generation is about our Italian language and learning to speak it. Nick, what would you like to say about that? You speak Italian.
Yeah, come stai, voglio. That's it. I would like to say this, that the greatest thing about this country is people get to celebrate their religious or cultural backgrounds, and we're no different in Newton. We're trying to resurrect Italian Day, and so Ginny and I, and a lady named Teresa Sorrow, decided to keep the Italian spirit alive. And we run a grand parade every October 12th with a great rally at the end with speakers, and we love it.
But our organization primarily was established so that we can continue to honor the Christopher Columbus and Columbus Day. So along with that, we keep it alive, and we have a huge celebration now. It's grown started 6 years ago. We're still doing it. And of course, we focus on our heritage, our traditions, and the importance of learning the Italian language. And Nick Pasquarosa, co-founder, is right there with us all the time. Thank you, Mr. Pasquarosa.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Gardner. Always a pleasure.
We are all so honored that Consul General Arnaldo Minuti is here with us. The Consul General has a very long, distinguished list of accomplishments. I'm going to touch on a few, or we'd be here all night. Consul General Arnaldo Minuti is the Consul General of Italy in Boston. He previously served as the head of the Office for Internal Cooperation Against Global Threats and Counterterrorism. He was born in Parma, Italy. He graduated with a master's degree in law and entered the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Consul General Minuti served at the Embassy of Italy in Ethiopia, Canada, Mexico City, and now we have him, and we are so happy. He also was a representative of Italy in Paris. He is lieutenant of the, and I'm going to say this right, Carabinieri? Yes. Did I say it? Oh, yeah. Corps, and he is reserve in the Knights of the Italian Republic. We welcome Consul General Arnaldo Minuti. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much.
Buonasera a tutti. Good evening, everyone. I can step back, yeah. Allora, spero, so I will speak in English, but since this is a fundraiser for the Italian language, let me say a few words in Italian. Allora, grazie di essere qui, grazie di avermi invitato. Non sono qui da solo, ma sono qui con una mia collega del consolato, a colleague of mine at the consulate. I would like also to extend an applause to Ivana, Professor Ivana Marroncelli. Professor Ivana Marroncelli, she is the Education Director at the Consulate General of Italy in Boston. So good evening everyone. It is truly a great pleasure to be here with you tonight. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this wonderful evening, and in particular Dr. Paul Sergi. Thank you so much for this kind invitation and for the opportunity to join you for such a meaningful event for the Italian-American community of the Southern Massachusetts. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao is a shining example of what can be achieved through vision, dedication, and a deep belief in the value of Italian culture. In just 4 years, you have accomplished something remarkable: the creation of an Italian language program at Canton High School, now serving 60 students, as well as an adult education course with 40 participants. These numbers are significant, but even more important is what they represent: a collective commitment to keeping our language, the Italian language, and the Italian heritage alive and thriving. So again, a big applause to Professor Paul Sergi, Dr. Paul Sergi, and also to a great friend, unfortunately is not here tonight, Dominica Mara, who was really instrumental in all the relationship between Ciao, your community, and the Consulate General. I'm proud that the Consulate General has been able to support this initiative, so the program, the Italian language program at the Canton High School. We didn't do it alone, but of course there was also the great and important role played by CASIT. I know that the president of CASIT, she was here. Probably they already spoke, so they already introduced themselves. But CASIT in Italy, in Italian, is the ente, is the ente promotore. So it's really the key component for the support of the Italian language abroad. And so thanks to CASIT, the program was launched. And also, of course, not only CASIT, but the Italian-American Alliance, the Pirandello Lyceum, all the local authorities, and of course the Canton public schools. But the true driving force behind all of this is you, is the community, the volunteers, the family, and individuals like Paul Sergi and Dominica Mara, who have chosen not only to honor their roots, but to make them grow, flourish, and speak Italian. So again, applause to them, to you. Allow me to share a brief personal note. I know from first-hand experience how studying a foreign language can truly change the course of a young person's life. When I was a university student, my knowledge of English allowed me to take courses abroad. That experience sparked in me a deep love of travel, of encountering different cultures, and of exploring new perspectives. It broadened my worldview and played a fundamental role in my decision years later to pursue a career in diplomacy. I truly believe that speaking an additional language makes a person richer, more open, and more capable of seeing the world in all its complexity and beauty. That is exactly what you are giving to the students of Canton, a concrete opportunity for personal and cultural growth. In addition, I'm sure that in many cases you also have allowed these students to connect with their family heritage and to help them strengthen the connection with their relatives in Italy. Molto bene, veramente molto bene. Applause, grazie. Tonight is a celebration of all that you have built and an invitation to look ahead with even greater enthusiasm. I'm confident that with your continued support, this program will grow and inspire future generations. Let me also tell you that what happened here in Canton, at the Canton High School, is really what we can define, what we can call a best practice in the effort to support the Italian language. Because when Dr. Sergi and Dominic Amara a couple of years ago came to the consulate, and they told us about their vision, their project, their wish to start or to support, let's say, the Canton High School in starting the program of Italian. It was really something very important for us, because we represent Italy and the Italian government, and actually the Italian government has many resources to support the Italian language abroad. But these resources, and I'm talking about financial resources, cannot, let's say, be just given to schools or given to students. The important role really is the involvement of the Italian community, the Italian American community. So that's why when we received them, we really thought that there was really a possibility to do something special and something important. So with the effort of Ciao, it was possible to, let's say, unlock these resources that are coming from Italy. There was the role, as I said, the important role of the ente promotore, the CASIT. There was also the important commitment of the local authorities, because it's always important, let's say, the political level at local level. And then, of course, there was the interest of the school. I mean, the school was open to start this project of the Italian language. So all these components made really a successful result, and in any case, everything was possible because of the let's say driver of the force of the efforts that came from really the families, the Italian community. So be proud of that, because it's not always the case. This was really, and I hope it is, and it will be really a success story for many years to come. From Italy, we'll be able to keep this support. Just to give you an idea, this support to the schools is in the amount of, Ivan, I don't want to say wrong, but it's around 25,000 euros. So now the euros, thanks to the president here, the euros is stronger than the dollar. So, but I cannot speak about politics. You should only bear in mind, this is a message, that between the United States and Italy, it's really a great friendship. There is really a good relation, a stronger relation than in the past. So we are really proud of representing Italy here in the US. So again, thank you for this opportunity to come here with my colleague, and really have this opportunity, take advantage of this opportunity to meet you and to really thank you for what you have done. And I hope to thank you for what you will keep doing in support of the language, of the Italian language. For us, the Italian language is what really connects to our Italian identity, to the Italian culture. So when we visit these communities and see firsthand really the importance that you, or the attachment that you have with Italy, the attachment that you have to the language, to the Italian culture. It's really something that for us is of the utmost importance. Thank you again. Ivan, I don't know if you want to say something. Thank you again. Grazie di tutto. Ciao. Ciao.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good?
I'm here right now with Al Ciccinelli. He's part of the IAA, and of course, he's very interested in Ciao. Al, tell us about how important the Italian language is for you as second generation.
Actually, I'm third generation, but it's very, very important. I'm trying to instill in my niece and nephews, and actually in Newton North, they have an Italian history and culture course now associated with their Italian language classes. And it's very important that we keep this going.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's difficult for me now to add something. Yeah. I can bring my experience here in the Consulate General of Italy. I've been working for 2 years now, and I met Dr. Sergi and Dr. Dominic Camara some months after my first arrival, and I was trying to understand better the situation, and I had to, in fact, I had to tell Dr. Sergi to not to rush too much, but I promised that I would have helped them in their project, and it was an honor for me to do so.
You're right.
And also, I wanted to tell you that the principle, the main goal of my office is to promote Italian language. We do so by giving the money, as the Consul General was saying before. We have a law in Italy that asks the communities to get involved in the promotion. If the community is involved, Italy will give up to 95% of the total cost of a course in an in a school, in an American school. So in this case, we have Italy, which is financing the U.S. Usually, it's the other way around, because U.S. Of course are richer than Italy. But this is because Italy really believes in the value of transferring to promoting the Italian values to new generations, to your children, to your grandchildren. And we have had this of Canton was one of the best practices that we have in the last 2 years. The other one was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, because our district encompasses 5 states of the United States, and they are Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. And we have also given this support to Portsmouth, where we have 3 elementary schools. All the schools in Portsmouth, you study Italian in all elementary schools. And then we have also a high school in Portsmouth that we are financing. I would like to go on because I have my assignment is for other 4 years at least. So I would like to go on with this kind of project. And I have to say that we have met a very professional group of teachers in Canton High Schools, and the principal of the school was very pivotal and was very motivated in helping us. So. Thank you. I would like to thank everyone here for the help that you're giving to the fostering of your young generation, because you're doing this for your children and for our Italian descendants. And that's what we are looking for. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm here now with Anthony San Marco. You all know the name and you've all read his award-winning books. Anthony, you're here with us tonight to help us celebrate Ciao and the importance of the Italian language and teaching it to young people and future generations.
Well, I think it's very important. You know that I write books on the history of Boston, and though I've done 3 books on the North End, one of them has been translated into Italian. One of the concepts is that many students that are taking the Italian language, whether it's in secondary school or in an undergraduate degree, find it easier to understand the language with photographs. So in that instance, not only are they learning about the Italian-American influence in the North End, but they're also learning the language. And I think sometimes it's important to realize people speak it differently than they write it. And the dialects can be very different, but I think the Italian language is an important one to foster in this country.
We are honored tonight to also have Anthony San Marco. He is a historian and author of over 75 books on history and development of Boston. He lectures widely on the history and development of his native city, taught at BU, received the Bullfinch Award in Washington, and many other recognitions. He commenced writing in 1995, and his books, Lost Boston, The History of Howard Johnson, How Massachusetts Soda Fountain Became a Roadside Icon, and the Baker Chocolate Company, The Sweet History of Boston in Motion, in the North End, and his latest, The Christmas Tree Shops. I am proud to welcome Anthony San Marco. That's a little dangerous. There we go.
Well, I want to thank everyone for inviting me, especially Dr. Sergi, Dr. Amara, and of course Virginia Gardner. As she said, I've done 70 books, but the Christmas Tree Shop book was number 90. And I thought in some ways that many people probably don't realize that these are only an avocation. I had a career in finance, and I taught at both the Urban College of Boston and Boston University Metropolitan College history. So I think in some ways I've always been an advocate of history. But the whole thing is, in some ways, the way I look at history, it's something that we all share. My grandparents, Luigi and Rose Gianelli San Marco, were 2 people that lived in Boston's North End from the time they were 2 years of age. The Gianellis had come from Monteficcano, which is a part of Avellino, and the San Marcos came from Naples. When they married in 1921, they left the North End, which was a thriving neighborhood primarily of Italian Americans, but it also included Irish and Jewish and many other people with 37 distinct languages and dialects. They moved to Medford, and that's where my father and his brothers were raised. In that instance, we would go for Sunday dinner, and I think in some ways most of us realize what an Italian Sunday dinner is. My grandmother would make the pasta, the gravy, and of course a variety of different entrees. But when I got there, they were usually discussing something in very loud tones. And my father would say when I asked, "Are they yelling at each other?" "No, that's the way they speak." So it wasn't until I became an adult that I realized they were swearing at each other in Italian. They did have a loving marriage, but the whole idea was, in some ways, I was fascinated with the Italian aspect of Boston's culture and what Italians have offered to Boston. So during that period of my 20s and 30s, beginning in some ways to teach, but then of course having a career in finance, I in some ways looked at the Italian-American culture as something that was a very diverse group of people. Some people were from southern Italy, some people were from northern Italy. But the whole idea was I was looking at places like St. Leonard's Church, where 5 generations of my Italian family had actually worshipped. And I looked in some ways as to what they had done. They didn't have professional careers. One ancestor was a butcher, another was a barber, and a third worked in a laundry. But what they did was to educate their children, and of course the North Bennett Street School was an important aspect because 2 of my ancestors went there. But it was also the fact that my grandfather, who became a banana specialist with the United Fruit Company in the North End, was somebody who was, for all practical purposes, illiterate. But he sent his son, my father, to Harvard, and in that instance it became the American dream. He was the only one of his generation from basically 7 different branches that was educated. And in that way, he contributed back to Boston in many instances, not only as being a vice president of Armour Meat Company and later as treasurer of the Boston division of Domino Sugar, but he was somebody who instilled in me and my sister the aspect of giving back. So over the last 40 years, not only have I written books that actually encompass everything from a neighborhood in Boston to things such as the Baker Chocolate Company, Lost Boston, S.S. Pierce, Howard Johnson's, but these are things in some ways that not only touch upon us as Italian Americans, but also touch upon the greater majority of the public. History is something that is fascinating. So in this instance, these books that I write are not only fun, beautifully illustrated, and I hope of interest to people, but I've actually started a new book, and it's actually on the Prince Macaroni Company. Now it's going to be titled Wednesday is Prince Spaghetti Day, and I don't know about you, but when I was a child, I really began to realize that the name Anthony was more popular than I realized. Everyone yelled it. But the whole idea was that Joe Pellegrino, who bought the company in 1941, would have a son named Joe Pellegrino, who continued it right through to 1987 when it was sold to Borden Corporation. But Prince Spaghetti was something that I was raised on. And yes, though my mother was not of Italian descent, we had macaroni every Wednesday evening. But the idea was, in some ways, it was something you began to realize. It connected back to 40 years previously when my grandmother would make fresh pasta, lay it out on a fresh sheet on her bed so that it could dry before 1 o'clock when we sat to dinner. In that instance, these were things that not only were a great memory to me, but they were also something in some ways that became the fodder for some of my books. I did a book called Christmas Traditions in Boston. I dedicated it to all 4 of my great-grandparents and my grandparents. I thought in some ways that not only were they some English, Irish, but Italian, that they actually had given me some of the things that I really enjoyed about Christmas. Many of the memories that I had were really quite fond, not only of Christmas Eve, when of course it was the Feast of the 7 Fish, but it was also something in some ways to realize that these traditions not only carried through for 2, 3, 4 generations, but I still will do the Feast of the 7 Fish. Of course, the 7 has been reduced to 3. I can only eat so much fish. But that is something in some ways that we share. These are things in some ways, it's also like the language. And when I was being educated, I studied Latin at Roxbury Latin School. And when I was in high school and college, I studied French, not Italian. So to hear that the Canton High School has actually instituted, I guess, an Italian immersion program is not only commendable, but when I lived in Milton for 25 years, they had created the French immersion program. I think any language should actually be celebrated, and many students actually learn the English language better than they might have done with the use of a second language. Every time we're in Italy, and Ginny and George Gardner are going with me on Thursday to Sicily, we look in some ways that everyone in Europe speaks 2, sometimes 3 languages. In Boston, most of us speak 1 language. I can get by. I'm fluent in Italian for a 6-year-old, and in French, I can probably get by as a 9-year-old. But in that way, I look at it as an important feature because it gave me all of the different things I needed to really speak English well. But today, when you look at the books that I've written, each of these things are a great example of the history of Boston. I've been putting together a program that actually will be something that will be a 6-part book. It's called The Italians in Boston. And what it will be of not only the religious, the cultural, the architectural, and of course the demographics, but it'll be from Italians from the period of the 1860 period to the present. These are things in some ways that we should celebrate because our families were part of it. It might not necessarily be the fact that we have a name that many people would recognize. Maybe we don't have ancestors that stand out in the history books, but they lived and they loved and they died. And they actually sponsored most of us to become true Americans, but Americans of Italian-American descent. And in that way, I think history is something that we should look at as something that not only do we share it, but we also have wonderful stories. My books are not academic. They are not footnoted, though I do have quotes in most of my books, and of course my publisher doesn't allow me to post where they have been taken from. But I think in some ways, I want a book on the Italian culture in Boston that actually touches upon each and one of all of our memories and, of course, our family's contributions. So the next time you pick up a book that actually talks about local history, I hope it'll be one of mine, but it will also be something you can basically begin to see how history has now become something that is more mainstream than it has ever been. My books, I was told by my publisher, sell well. I wish the royalties reflected that. But the whole aspect is you have a greater preponderance of 75 to 80% of the population reading these books than you do academic books, which might sell 200 or 300 copies. The Christmas Tree Shop book, to give you an example, came out in January. It's in its third printing, and we're only in May. These are books, I think, in some ways that touch upon not only our fondness for history and memory, but also inclusion. So, in passing, I think all of us should realize in some ways we've contributed somehow to the evolution of Boston, and the fabric of life of the Italian-American community is an important one, and that we share all of it in unison. Thank you very much.
So, Dr. Sergi, do you have a few more words to say?
I just wanted to say thank you for everybody for coming. Enjoy the dessert, finish up whatever you'd like, and thank you, and I'm sorry for the late start on you. I go off in tangents, my wife says. I guess I tangent a bit tonight. But anyway, we thank you all for coming. It's all important, especially the politicians, the high school, all the important, you people are all important to this organization, and we really appreciate it. So thank you all very much. And thank you, Virginia.
Thank you.